Have you ever wondered why some people stay really calm in the midst of stress while there are other people who seem to get really overwhelmed by just the smallest of things? You can have the same stressful event and two different people will respond completely differently to that same stress. Why is that? And can we actually become that person who responds to stress with strength and resilience, even when life is hard? Yes, we can. I know, because I wasn't always like this. Just a few years ago, I would spiral at the smallest problem. I would replay things over and over in my head. I would lose sleep over things, and I would feel completely consumed by stress. But over time, I started learning about how the brain actually works, and it changed everything for me. So there is this thing called neuroplasticity, which means that the brain actually has the ability to change, even in our adult life. We can create new thought patterns and new habitual ways of thinking, which can then help us handle stress in a better way. So my aim for you for this video is to teach you how you can handle stress in a better way. What if I said to you, life isn't actually stressful. It's the way that we respond to life that creates the stress. Let that sit with you for a moment. A stressful event that occurs does not actually determine the way that we feel. It's actually the quality of our thoughts about that stressful event that determines how we feel. So I want you to picture two different people that have gone through the exact same stressful event. Person A is finding it really overwhelming and is really stuck in the stress of it all, whereas person B navigates the situation without reacting or dwelling and finds a way forward. So what did they do differently to handle the exact same stressful situation in a completely different way? The answer is mostly in the quality of their thoughts after the stressful event occurred. Remember that these people experienced the exact same stressful event. Person A got very overwhelmed. Person B handled it with strength and resilience. So the difference was in the story that they told themselves afterwards. Person A might have had an inner dialogue or thoughts sounding something like, "This always happens to me. I can't handle this. I can't handle another stressful thing happening." Whereas person B may have paused and thought something like, "This is tough, but I can figure it out." And they may have told themselves that even in that moment if they had no idea how they're going to figure it out. The how doesn't matter. They just know and they have faith that everything is going to be okay. And they know that it's important to tell themselves that they will be okay and that they can figure it out and that they can be resourceful, even if they don't have all the answers in that very moment. So our thoughts create our experience to a stressful event. With these two people, the event didn't change, but their perception of the event did. And that is the shift. When you change your thinking, you change how life feels. So the action of speaking to yourself differently is called reframing. And reframing your thoughts changes everything when it comes to stress. So your first task is to become more aware of your inner dialogue and start to choose thoughts that bring calm instead of chaos. There are two really great quotes that I want to share in this moment. The first quote is, "If you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change," from Wayne Dyer. So really what he's saying here is it's all about perception and mindset. And then the second quote is from David Bayer. And he says, "It's not the experience that's the problem, but the thought about the experience that is the problem." Once again, showing us that our real suffering is actually coming from our thoughts, not from the event itself. And this is actually great news because we can control our thoughts. So that means we're actually in control of how we feel when stressful things happen. We can't actually control that stressful event that is happening, but we can control our thoughts and the way that we respond. So let's talk about how to do that. So the first mental habit that I mentioned about handling stress better was about reframing our negative thoughts into more helpful thoughts. Now, number two is understanding this very simple thing. Stressing over things that you can't control doesn't actually fix the thing that's happened. For example, stressing about rain on your wedding day, this is so out of your control. And the stress itself isn't actually going to change the weather. You stressing about it isn't going to make the sunshine come out on your wedding day. All the stress does is makes you feel worse. It doesn't actually solve the problem, if that makes sense. Yes, a little bit of stress can help you take action to things that you can control, like making a wet weather plan, making sure there's umbrellas at your wedding, these types of things. But once you've done that, if the stress continues and the stress is ruminating and you're thinking about it over and over and over again, when there's nothing really else you can do, then that is the stress that is really, really not helpful and only makes us feel worse. So the thing that you do have control over is how you respond to the stress. So that is exactly what you want to focus on. That leads me to number 3, and that is, what do you do in a situation where you actually do have more control over the things that are stressing you out? So yes, in some situations we do have a little bit of control about things that are causing us stress and worry. For example, if your finances are causing you stress, or if a certain friendship is weighing on you, you likely have more control than you think. Instead of being in a situation of blaming your situation, blaming the economy, blaming your friend, say to yourself, okay, well, what can I actually do here? What step can I take to help me move forward? This is about being solution focused. When we stress about things and we dwell on them, but then we don't try to do anything about them, we're being problem focused. So the idea is to go from being problem focused to solution focused. And sometimes it may feel like there's nothing that you can do, but often there really is a lot that you can do. And taking the time to be quiet, brainstorming, and taking small little steps forward can really help. So there can be a lot of reasons why someone isn't taking action to do anything about the things that are stressing them out. And a lot of the time, it is because of fear. So question that for yourself. If you're currently not taking action on something that is causing you a lot of stress, what are you scared of? And that's a real question, like dwell on it, sit down, take some time to dwell on it. If you're procrastinating something, or if you're not focused on trying to make a solution for something that is stressing you out, do ask yourself what you're afraid of, because that can really help you bridge that gap or help you find a way forward to find that solution that you're looking for. Often that fear also might be some sort of limiting belief that arises, and we know that limiting beliefs are things that we can change and work on. Neuroplasticity, remember, the brain can change. So if you have limiting beliefs in your life, they can change. Watch my video above here that will help you with that. But yes, that is just a little side note. But anyway, the mindset of being solution focused instead of problem focused is exactly the mental habit I'm wanting you guys to adopt here. Imagine pouring water into a bucket which has a leak. That is what you're doing when you stress about something, but you're doing nothing about it. No matter how much energy you pour in, it just drains you and nothing's actually getting fixed. So stop pouring the water and focus on patching the leak. That's where real progress happens. So when we worry about the past, we increase our stress. When we worry about the future, we increase our stress. So the most calm place we can be is in the present moment. So when you are feeling stressed, your best tool in that moment is bringing yourself to the present moment. The other day I was in the shower and I found myself ruminating on a conversation that I had with someone, and I was making myself very angry and very stressed, and I could feel my heart rate increasing. When I noticed that I was doing that, I just paused and I said to myself, I'm safe, I am here. Saying that to myself in the moment really grounded me in the present moment. And then I continued to say little phrases like, only here, only now. And I felt the warm water against my skin in the shower. I felt my feet pressing against the tiles on the floor. This was really simple, and it brought me back into the present moment and away from my ruminating thoughts. But the hardest thing about this can often be noticing when you are in that negative loop with the inner dialogue in your head, because sometimes we can go hours or days or weeks or months or years and not notice this inner voice. Inner dialogue is the most important thing when it comes to changing your life and controlling your mental health. So it is so important. It is such a great skill to actually learn to notice that inner dialogue. And it is a skill. It's actually something that can be practiced to become more aware of that inner dialogue. Some people aren't aware of it, and that is how they go on months and years without actually noticing it and changing it. But we can become aware of it. We can learn it, okay? So I'll give you a quick tip on how to do that now. But this is exactly why so many people bang on about the importance of being present and cultivating awareness. The more you practice being more aware, the more ability you then have to notice your thoughts and then be able to catch them and change them. It's that simple. But simple doesn't mean easy or quick. It will take a little bit of time, so just keep practicing, don't get discouraged, and keep working on the awareness muscle, and you'll notice eventually over time you will become better at noticing your thoughts. So right now, today, I want you to make a commitment to developing more awareness. Start researching it, binging videos on it, and just make it something that you study to help change your life. If you want to become more aware of your thoughts, I think the most simple, quickest way to do this is through meditation. I simplify meditation in my videos, which are up on the screen now. So go watch those if you are really keen to meditate more and develop more awareness so that you can handle stress better in your life. Today, I am grateful for this beautiful home that we live in. We will be moving house soon, and this is the house that I brought my baby home to, so it will always have a special place in my heart. I'd love to know, what are you grateful for today?